Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, wherever you're listening.
Oh my
Joined
God.
with me as always, Mr. Chris Cute.
Hello, everybody.
And Mr. Alan Robinson.
How you doing, fellas?
Unfortunately, Joe's unable to make it this week, but hopefully he's listening or in the chat. Oh, is he fired, is he?
He's fired. I can't be having this.
Oh, yeah, like you're one to talk.
We'll let you bring that up then with
I'll be having a talk with him, don't worry.
Jamie Page.
Hello, no insult this week.
No, I couldn't even be bothered to think one up, mate, so we'll just...
It's not worth the insult.
Not worth the effort.
I'll do it for you. The scroll saw guy. Okay, there you go.
Oh.
And we've got a super cool guest this week. I'm really looking forward to this week because I know it's directly from the future. Well, for me anyway. It's Dale from Wacky Wood Works. Dale, hello.
You're all right. How's it all going?
Good. Excellent. I will be back with you in just 1 second. I just very quick shout outs this week, in fact. So just the one shout out this week to Jim Dockrell. So hi, Jim. And a big thank you to everyone and anyone who hit the thumbs up, like button, shared us and all that good stuff from last week. Don't forget, you can listen to us on your favourite podcasting software. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the wood turners abrasive paste. For more information, visit yorkshiregrit.com. And also our good friend Chad from Mancrafting. He's still working with us with the Mancrafting mugs, which we have some on the way and some delivered. So have you got yours, Alan?
I do believe I do. I didn't realize we were sponsored now, though. I think I'd show up a little more often. I might know these things.
I was just going to say, it was probably one you missed.
We're making money now.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
Welcome back from puberty.
It only took me 3 weeks.
Oh my God, and he grew a beard. That's great. That's great. I'm sorry, go ahead, Richard.
Excellent. Don't forget, if you want to find out more about our sponsors, then visit our website, which is makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. I know, Jamie, you do work a bit on the website.
Yeah, only a little bit.
A little bit, because I know Steve does most of it for you, doesn't he? Bless him.
Yeah. Just Steve over at. I can't actually go through all of that without mentioning Harnell Media either. He does do a hell of a lot for the podcast website. So yeah, thanks.
And Steve, And Steve, just off camera and off microphone, that's the first time he's given you credit for anything that's been done because he's been taking it himself. He goes, "I've just done this, I've just done that," and we all know that he was you. So, Steve, God love you, man. Thank you so much.
We know the truth, don't we? So,
you can't handle the truth.
Well, it depends what the truth is.
We know what the truth is, and it's just not pretty.
Excellent. Do we have, Chris, any random listener questions from?
We do. But I tell you what, if you don't mind, Richard, this week I'm going to reserve them because I want to wish a very good friend of mine, the best wishes to Mark Christopher. Mark ran into a situation that wound him up in the hospital, and as far as I know, he's still lying in a bed in a hospital, but he's okay. And I know a lot of people know Mark and love him, but he's fine. But he's laying up in a hospital, sucking down pudding, and it's like, and he's gonna be okay. But I just want to wish him the best. So, Mark, we're thinking about you, and I hope you get home soon, buddy.
Excellent, yeah, definitely. I mean, you get as much Jello down your neck as you can, fella, because they're gonna bill you for it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And at $24 a friggin' shot, it better have vodka in it.
It's certainly not easy being a couple of 100 million years old.
Says Jamie. So, Dale.
Richard.
How are you? We want to know absolutely everything about you over the next period of time. And since Joe's not here, we can literally talk for as long as we like. So How are you?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Who does anyone want to kick off tonight's interview with a question, Alan?
Don't forget how this works, Dale. I'm sure you know the drill by now. Give us the old origin story, but don't leave out the bike stuff. Don't leave out the music stuff. I want to hear about all that stuff too.
The bike stuff?
The bike stuff.
Is it kind of like the question we ask every single week?
Well, not every week, but...
Oh, yeah, because you're not always there. Alan's talking about boxers or briefs.
I knew that one was coming. So how far back do you want me to go?
Birth? No, of course not. When you started making.
Oh, okay. Well, I was basically brought up in a foster home. So 13 other kids to share what we had. And, foster home's a very nice way of saying orphanage, basically. So from that, we were pretty well looked after from the state. So we had everything, I got to play with Lego and all the rest of it as a 5-year-old kid, and who doesn't love playing with Lego? Even today, I still love seeing my wee young nephew playing with it and taking it apart. And I used to build with the Lego build stuff with the plans and look at it and go, oh, I can do better than that, and rip it apart and make my own models. And then I also had kit set models, the planes and tanks and ships. I used to make them. Apparently I can draw. Oh, that's debatable though, but start to actually getting into making the stuff that I, playing around with wood, that probably didn't happen until like intermediate school, during shop class and all the rest of it. That's where that spark, I think, came from, is intermediate school.
What age group is that? Intermediate.
12, 13, I think.
Okay.
I think they call it year 12, whatever it is now. That's all changed since I went to school. So, and from there I really enjoyed woodwork. I remember making, stools and Lord knows what else from woodwork. Then from there, it was tried my hand at metalwork, making a few things here and there at metalwork, which I do enjoy doing, but just not as much as working with wood.
Well, you also play with electronics a little bit. I mean, because I know I've seen you wire up a few LED lights in a few of your projects that you've done. So it's that's not out of reach for you either.
Oh yeah, those are pretty much plug and play ones,
Well, don't discount that. Because that's actually kind of hard for me. So
it took me a while to figure out.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose I did actually read the instructions on that one. So
parts left over. Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, from high school. After high school, I sort of went straight into the Royal New Zealand Navy, and that actually taught me a fair whack about life in general. Learning a lot of stuff just to use what you've got, basically, to make do. And I believe that's actually transferred over to my actual making skills. Although also drinking skills as well, but that's another story.
hey, Dale, that's what sailors do, my friend.
Yeah.
What? How old were you when you enlisted?
Oh, straight from school, it would have been 17.
17, 18?
Wow.
Yeah. By the time I left school, it would have been 17 and a half, which was the youngest you could join. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you left training, you'd be old enough to do
active duty, right?
Active duty, yeah.
Well, I know Richard has a fair bit of experience as far as the military goes too, so maybe he has a question for you about the New Zealand Navy.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, how long did you serve for? I mean, because some guys do 3-4 years and then straight out to do something else, and other guys, get a fair few qualifications and they spend a bit of time there. So
I served 6 or 7 years.
So that's a reasonable period of service. Yeah.
I was radar. If you wanted to know, that was.
I was going to say what trade is that, and that probably goes back to your make, do, and mend. Because if you have components that aren't working, you can't just nip down to your local Maplins or Tandy's or Radio Shack and pick up
a spare transistor or something, or whatever. Well, back then it was valves and. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the Navy though. Travelled. Well, it's easier naming the places I haven't been to through the Navy than actually naming the ones I have been to. So, yes, that's including Canada and the UK, America. So
you've been around. You've seen the world.
Yeah. Yep. And thank you, New Zealand government.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? No problem. I mean, you know what? I wish I would have been. I wish I would have been able to do that. And Richard, I know you traveled around a bit too, didn't you?
Yeah, we got to go to a few cool places, but nothing quite as far afield as what Dale travelled. I mean, I think the furthest we went was the States and up to Sweden, and mostly in Europe, actually, for what we were doing. But I can definitely relate to, firstly, the amount of travel you get to do on someone else's budget. The not having things accessible. That's probably being able to work closely with people, whether you like it or not. You know, you've got to get on with people, and if you don't necessarily enjoy an individual's company, you have to work around that, and you have to get on and do what needs to be done regardless of that. So,
and at the end of the day, you already know that he's got your back, whether he likes you or not. He's got your back.
Yeah, right. Because everyone's got that kind of will-do attitude, which is the key component. So whereabouts in New Zealand? Because I wanted to ask, one thing that sticks out for me, other than the LED lights and that Chris has already instructed on, but which island are you?
On the South Island.
South Island. And what's the sort of the countryside there like? Because I've seen the background of some of your videos. It seems quite picturesque. And I'm not talking about the inside of your workshop.
Oh, neither am I, because that's just a dusty old basement. But that's actually just my backyard. So Dunedin's got what they call the town belt, and it's a heritage thing where they're technically not allowed to take down the town belt, and the town belt is just a row going through the town, and it's trees, gardens and trees, and the end of it you actually see in the background on the hill. That's part of the town belt, and
right, that's okay.
Just in behind those trees you see in some of my videos is an actual motorway going up, the main south motorway going further south. So it's just luck that I can angle the camera to make it look like it's make it look like I'm living in the country or something when I'm not. I'm actually, the two neighbours are they're pretty close each side. So
does that assist you in what sort of materials and tools you can get hold of, or are you limited or fairly? I'm limited what we can get to just in New Zealand in general, but tool-wise, I can get anything if I want to pay for it. At the end of the day,
isn't that always the case?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that, because I never having been to New Zealand, and God, I mean, I would love to come. I would love to come visit you and hang out in your entertainment room and have a few bourbon with you. But I am curious because I know that you do a lot of obviously you do a lot of work. But I'm wondering what kind of materials are available to you. What? Excuse me for burping. What is your what is the domestic woods that you have privy to? I mean, what type of material do you actually is readily available in New Zealand? Because I'm really curious to know that.
the stupid thing is the most readily available and cheapest is pine, because we actually grow it here abundantly and export it to Chile to get milled, and then it comes back to New Zealand. I don't know how that works, but that's globalization for you.
Sounds like Canada. Canada has the same issue. They grow it, send it to America, and then get sent back to them, and they get charged.
Yeah. And I have no idea. But native woods, we have, Rimu, which is, this is Rimu, what she's named after. Mahogany, not mahogany, macrocarpa and kari and all the rest of it. There's quite a few native woods, but the main two that I go for, because I just love working with Rimu. It's a nice soft wood, and I just love the grain of it.
Okay.
That's awesome. A lot of houses were actually made with Rimu. This house is actually,
I'm not familiar with that wood. I mean, is anybody else familiar with that?
I've never heard of that. I was just wondering.
It's basically like a red pine. Think of a red pine. So it's I think it's part of the same family, but it's an actual native wood.
It is soft and gummy like pine is, though.
No, when it's freshly cut, honestly do not know.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you a question. I mean, is it expensive to buy? I mean, if you went to,
you're not allowed to mill it anymore.
Oh, okay. But what about regular, just if you domestic pine? If you go out, I mean, is that expensive to buy for you guys, or is it relatively cheap, or do you have a lot of out of pocket expense if you want to, build a big project?
I'll let you on a little secret.
Okay.
My other half works for Placemakers.
Okay.
Which is like your big box store.
Oh, so discounts.
Yeah. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know what this actually is.
This wood stuff just appears in his shop now.
Yeah.
It literally grows.
Well, because I'm genuinely interested about what it costs other people to do what they do. Because I mean, it's just because we find doing this podcast, we've been doing it for over a year now. We find that tools, wood, things of that nature, the prices vary depending on where you actually live. So, just for instance, I'm going to ask you about tools, and I know that you have a Bosch glide saw, miter saw that you bought. Now, and I don't even know what the exchange rate is. So if anybody knows what the New Zealand to American dollar exchange rate is, you let me know. I don't know what this compares to, but if I was to buy that saw in the United States today, it would cost me about $600.
Does that include the stand?
No, that would just be the saw. The saw by itself would be $600. Is that cheaper, more expensive, less expensive? I mean, what is the tool cost?
That's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Okay, so
heck of a lot cheaper.
So tools do well. I mean, I'm assuming that most of that is probably because they have to be shipped in.
Yep.
Well, it's okay.
I would say that, right. and having such a small population. We've only got 4.5 million people, so there's no real major. They can't send 20,000 units into the country and expect them to sell overnight.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's $600, Chris. That relates to 860 New Zealand dollars, roughly.
Okay.
For just the saw.
For just the saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, I bought the saw and stand on special, so $1,600 all up.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I have that much in my whole shop.
Oh my gosh. No. And you know what? And you know what?
$1,000 worth of tools. I do have that.
Well, you know what? You wanted it. You wanted it, and you bought it. Good for you. I mean, I'm just, and because I would love to have that saw myself. I was just curious as to what the
go out and buy
because Dale, the reason why I ask this is I've heard from a lot of people from Australia, and I've never talked to you about this before. And I know that obviously New Zealand is like right next door to Australia. And if you ask the British people in the podcast today, they will tell you that at least you're not the prison. You're not the prison colony. But if Joe was here, what Joe would say is no, they're not. But yes, they are. Well, actually, Joe would say yes, they are. These are just the guys who knew how to swim.
I knew you were going to say that.
but I've heard from a lot of guys from Australia, and I've never talked to you about this before, but apparently some of the prices that they have to pay are outrageous. And I was wondering if it was, and I'm trying to be convinced of that. And so you've just convinced me that, yeah, it costs a heck of a lot to do what you do where you're at.
How much, your Krieg jig, how much is one of those for you guys?
Oh, I don't know.
$50.
Well, it depends on the Craig jig, I guess. I mean, if you
say the K5.
Which is K5 is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $100, I think. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if it's that much, but I'm guessing because I have one. I just don't remember what I paid for it exactly. I'm guessing somewhere in the neighborhood of. I'm guessing $100. I mean, I could be off. Maybe somebody in the chat can correct me if they know what the exact price is. What did yours cost?
I had to pay about $230.
Oh, well then I guess I'm not far off.
I'm just googling this, and you've got the K5 with the little plastic wings and presumably the clamp and the drill bits and all the rest of it. On here, I'm looking at £127. So that's not
which is
quite as expensive.
No, but you convert that to New Zealand dollars, it's $230 odd.
Yeah, easy. And actually, the pound is valued more than the dollar is, so it would have cost me more than that. So I was off on my estimate. So, yeah,
New Zealand.
Well, but I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, I'm sorry that you guys struggle.
It doesn't bother. I don't struggle. I just make do.
No, there's always what that's what I always tell people. It's like,
I learned that from you, Chris.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know what? If there's a will, there's a friggin' way. I have a backyard. I've got trees that fall down. I mill my own lumber. I make my own stuff. I mean, I don't have to go out and buy it. So it's like but trying to convince people that that's possible is like pulling teeth. Sometimes it's like, guys, you really can just go out and do this. All you need is a few simple tools to get it done. And
I don't have the best. Like, I mean, you look at my bandsaw and my table saw and my lathe. They are not the top grade. They're probably one of the cheaper grades I've got. Mm-hmm. So you don't need the top grade tools to go and have some fun.
Yeah,
no. There's kind of two. I've got two sides to this. Where do we start? So from the sort of the hobby side of it, if you work and you've got a job, you basically you're doing that job so you can pay your bills, you can put food on the table, roof over your head, and that's good. But if you've got a hobby that you enjoy doing, then there's a very strong argument, I think, for saying, rather than a lot of people who will say, well, I'm not going to spend that, it's only my hobby, I'm not going to, But there's also the other side of that is, why not? That's the thing that you love doing. That's what you do for fun, not because you have to, but because you really enjoy it. So there's a really good argument there to say, well, maybe you could put a little bit more to it because you like doing it.
I totally agree with that. It's like I tell that to my other half. She does quilting and sewing, and she's got I've just built her a craft room. God damn it!
Yeah, that was a big series, that
wasn't it? I sweated a little bit doing that.
But I tell her if she's wanting something and she can afford it, we've got all our bills, checklist, bills are paid, have food in my stomach, got a roof over my head. You've got spare cash, go and buy what you want. It's your money. If you want something, go and buy it. There's no reason why you can't.
Exactly.
But equally, there's nothing saying you have to either.
No, that's totally correct. I mean, there was two. She got one of those semi-industrial sewing machines, and it goes on a sliding rack thing. I have no idea what it's called. But anyway, I have no idea. But it cost, I think she said like $2,500 second hand. And she was, you know, were really, really wanting, and I just said, if you can afford it, bills are paid for, go get it. And she now uses that the machine all the time. That's her main go-to sewing machine. And just, you know.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, that's great. I mean, that kind of explains it. I mean, if you can afford it, and if you want it, then go get it. And then don't let anybody begrudge you because you have it. It's because, you know what, you worked for it. It's yours. I mean, you know, it's
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing, like, you know, with the F word.
Yeah.
I have no, I mean, I see somebody buy one, I'm going, oh, damn, I wish I could afford one of those.
Absolutely. There's nothing that you know, yeah, exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's just taking it to the next level of me going, okay, I can't quite afford that. And really, I can't justify it. Although, you know, I could. But if I really wanted it and could afford it, I'd go and buy it, and I wouldn't care what somebody said. That, you know, what they said. You know, you've got to. It's mine. I work hard. You know, get up every day, go to work, come home, and then make a YouTube video for you guys.
Exactly. It's like Richard said. It's because you're doing it for fun. I mean, I'll be honest with you. There is not a Powermatic. There is not a Festool that I have seen that I wouldn't love to have. I mean, it's like, but I have what you mentioned. Like you said, can I justify it? And you know, if I really, really wanted it, you know what? I'd go out and buy it.
Yeah.
I'd go out and buy it.
We actually now sell the saw stop here in New Zealand. I actually looked it up the other day, and it was like nearly $7,000.
Oh man! Oh, $7,000 for a saw stop?
Yep. I'm sure they've got cheaper versions out there, but that was just the main cabinet saw that they had. So I was like, yeah.
No, I think, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I think a saw stop cabinet saw, at least in the U.S., I think the main cabinet saw goes for about $3,000 here.
Exactly what I was just gonna say. It was about $3,000 the last time I looked at it.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know what you were looking at, but I've never seen a $7,000 saw stop, and you know I've seen the $3,000 one, and I've seen the $3,000 one in person at a trade show.
Yeah.
And I would not pay $3,000 for that machine. I mean, it's a wonderful machine, but it's just way overpriced. But whatever, that's a different story.
We've got a few questions from outside the chat now. We've got a question from Jim Dockrell.
No, not that one yet. No. Okay.
No? Oh, actually, yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. I'll let you answer that. Boxers or briefs?
Yeah, briefs.
I knew
it. A bit cold down here. It gets a bit cold down here with the old dingly bit, so.
Right here.
A little comfort never hurts, right?
Yeah. That's why you got the old snowball for that.
There's a reason we don't have a female audience.
Actually, we should, if you think about it. Anyway.
The question from Jim Dockrell. Is Dale allowed in his wife's hobby room now that it's done?
Technically, yes, but technically, no.
Well, the last video you put out, you actually were able to walk in there and film it, so at least you can do that. But
yeah, but she wasn't there, so.
She was at work, was she?
Yeah. No, I'm allowed in there, but not allowed to take it over like I've been planning since I started building it. So,
another one from Jim Bashirs. How big is your garage or stroke basement shed?
I wanted to ask that question.
I have to get back to you on that one because I don't really know. I've never.
I think I've seen like pretty much every one of your videos. Probably every single one of them, and it's always hard to tell the gauge of your shop by watching your videos.
It's
looks like you have way too much stuff, or the otherwise.
Oh yeah. There's that, but it's. I live in a 100-year-old house, and we live on a bit of a hill. So, house here. I'm going to say it's probably
1,200 square foot.
Yeah, I don't need to, you know, call a taxi from my table saw to my drop saw. Hey, Chris.
So smaller than
He couldn't answer, so he mocked Chris.
Dale,
I couldn't.
Dale, just don't get Richard started. Don't get him started.
I honestly have never measured it, so I can't really answer that. It's not whatever size I've got to navigate around house piles as well. So,
well, that was something I was going to mention. It doesn't seem to be like an open square space.
No,
Lots of, you know, there's a bit here and a bit there, and you notice. I was going to say, are you living on a hill, because some parts seem much lower than others, and all the rest of it.
It takes up about a third of the house. I'm going to say like 30 square meters all up.
So it's a reasonable. I mean, you've got potentially space to move around and build relatively.
I have, if I actually decided to fully develop it. I mean, part of it's actually not even, you know, still dirt floor. So,
Well, as long as you put your camera in there, you're good.
Yep, and make it look tidy behind me. So
That's the name of the game.
Another one we've got here is what is your favourite tool and what is your favourite project up till now?
My favourite tool would be my hands, basically, because every other mechanical tool is just an extension of these.
That's,
so
That's a really good answer.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Like a superhero.
He's the man. There you go. Whoop, there it is. Yeah, drop the mic. Drop the mic. Walk away.
Walk away. What was the other question?
Project.
Favorite project.
Chris, you know how you say that the last project you did is usually your favorite?
Yep, it normally is.
Yeah. Although I'm going to say my last project wasn't my favorite one, because my favorite one so far is my steampunk rifle.
You know what? And you know, and you didn't get enough. You did not get enough love for that video, and for the videos that you put out on that. And if anybody hasn't seen Dale's video on, if go to Wacky Wood Works and look at the steampunk rifle that he made, you put in some serious time on that thing, my friend, and that thing came out looking awesome. If you want to see some craftsmanship, go take a look at that video, because that was awesome. So Dale, I'm glad you said that.
Thank you. I like it because it was freeform art. I wanted to make a gun, steampunk. I don't have to follow the design of the one off Star Wars to get it right, and then people are going, "No, you didn't get that right." Whereas steampunk, it's whatever you want it to be. So, and I enjoy just finding bits of junk lying around, going, "Oh, put that together, see how that works," and you know.
That seems to be a bit of a theme on a lot of your projects.
Most of my projects, in
terms of, well, I was going to say, you do a lot of very accessible projects, or what people would deem to be an accessible project. Just off the top of my head, things like the backlit signs, the Anzac Day, the Yahtzee, and the tic-tac-toe. I really enjoy those videos, because they're not something that I would necessarily think about making myself until watching yours. And then I'm thinking, oh, okay, yeah, these games, and then you think, oh, chessboard, and then you go, oh, backgammon board, and then they're kind of almost a catalyst for other ideas to develop from them, if that makes sense. And I really like that about a lot of your projects, because you could just take that concept, whether it's steampunk or game or or lit something, and you could run with it in all sorts of directions.
Well, that is actually technically my goal of my channel. I don't really want to be doing over complicated projects, you know, dovetails and all the rest of it, because who can do them by hand? I can hear crickets in my headphones here.
I think the better question is, and if you're in the same frame of mind I am, because I have done hand cut dovetails, and the question actually is who really wants to do them again? And if you do, God love you. Just understand that I'm not going to be,
doing them as well.
I totally agree with you. Now, my goal is simply to inspire others to, I get emails, oh, can you make that for me? And I'm just sitting there go, no, just go and make it yourself. Like, as you said, the backlit signs, the Batman one is probably Alan really enjoyed, being Batman. See, I do know you, Alan.
I am Batman.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Well, and I got a couple of emails saying, can you make this for me? And I'm sitting there going, go get a shoebox, cut the shape out with a pair of scissors, paint it black, put the lights in. You've done the same thing. I was so tempted to make a video just to prove that point. So tempted on doing it. Just, it doesn't, I'm not saying it has to be wood to make a really nice looking project. I could do the same thing with a shoebox and some lights.
Yep. It's all about inspiring other people to get out there and do it yourself.
Yeah, that's the whole point of my channel.
Yep. Bingo.
Just to inspire you.
And you also produce your own music for your channel as well, don't you?
Yes, music. That was
and I'm glad you brought that up, Alan. Let's talk about Nighthawk. Who is he, and where did he come from, and how did he get started?
Well, where he came from, the earth cooled. How far back do you want to go?
Well, no, I'm just, I don't want to be coy about this. I mean, Dale produces and makes his own music for his own videos, and he offers it up to also other video creators to use his music within their videos, which is an awesome thing, by the way, Dale. But I mean, how did you get started? Was it that also something that you picked up in school, or was it something you just kind of picked up on your own, fiddling about? Because I mean, being musically inclined is, I don't want to say, nobody is born with talent. It takes practice. But some people have an aptitude. I don't think that can be argued. And you have an aptitude towards doing things musically. So where did that come from?
You do know I cannot read a sheet of music if you put it in front of me.
Well, neither could I. I mean, yeah.
The way going back to where I said I was brought up in a family home, they used to have this piano, and I would sit there and play it.
Right.
Just that note goes with that note. That go. I could just hear it. And then I got told off for making noise, but that's a totally different story. Then from there it was just continuously just mixing the noises together before I worked out the theory of music. I don't know how to explain that. That one's just pure, I don't like saying the word, talent, because I've never had a music lesson in my life.
You feel like you can see the notes in your head before you play them? Because I kind of had the same experience learning to play guitar and whatnot. I never had a lesson in my life, and I could play it in no time at all. I felt like I could see the notes before I played them, is the best way I could explain it myself. So I know how you feel. It's hard to put it into words.
I'll just about go along with that. It's very hard to put that into words. It's just one of those things. I know what that note is, and you know what key they're playing in, and all the rest of it. And
yeah, they just go together, and you start repeating it on repeat for 2 hours straight. And next thing you know, you've got a wicked awesome riff going, and there's no going back from it once you come.
Yeah,
it can happen.
It's the same with whistling.
Let's hear it.
No,
Jamie.
No, but I think the point is that nobody is born gifted with that talent. You are maybe born with the aptitude of it, but it was because you had an interest in it, and because you practiced it. You took the time you practiced it to hear the notes, to put them together, It takes that amount of there's no such thing as an overnight success because you have to actually put the work in. And you know what, Dale? I got to be honest with you. Some of the stuff you put out is absolutely fantastic. I love this. I love the soundtracks that you actually put out, and they are fantastic for YouTubers to use. And I would encourage anybody who's out there doing YouTube videos to check out. And Dale, tell them where they can go so they can get if they want to use your music and give you proper credit. Where would they go?
The easiest way to find my music is going to wackywoodworks.co.nz /music.
There you go.
Is it / or /?
So if you're looking for a track of music for your video and and YouTube's library is just like discussing you, which it normally does everybody, then Dale's got some. How would you describe your music, Dale?
A noise.
No, man.
No, seriously, it was an ongoing joke for the websites that I used to upload my music to. They asked, oh, that's a really cool track, like you've been saying. I say thank you very much. I just call it noise. Eventually, some of the sites gave me my own genre, hawk noise.
Is that what they called it?
That's what they called it. They gave me my own genre, hawk noise, and I went, thank you. And I just burst out laughing, and yes.
Not many people can say they've got their own genre.
But would it be fair if I had to classify your music? Would it be fair to classify it as electronic with a lot of different feels to it?
Yes, that's fair enough. Electronic with a really rock feel to it as well. Some of them. Yeah,
I would agree with that. But I mean, you have some very electronic that, if perceived correctly, are very tender and very calm. So, yeah, okay, awesome, rock and roll. Good for you, man. I admire that. I really do. I admire that.
Maybe you can make us a new intro song for Makers International.
Oh, you're doing all right with what you've got, isn't it?
Actually, I really like our intro song.
Voiceover gets annoying.
Yeah, the voiceover guy's got to go, but
Fired.
You're out.
He's not been paying his $10 a month.
Yeah, right. According to Alan, $29.95, and I've yet to receive a check.
They're all in the mail. I know they are.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, you guys.
Jamie, nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. Anyway,
just going back to my music, though, I never had any intentions of selling my music, so I just thought I'd give it away to the community. So
that's awesome.
That is awesome, and it is awesome you did that. And if once again, if anybody wants to use that in their videos, if you're out there, if you're a YouTuber and you want to make some videos, and you're looking for music, go check out Dale's site because he's got some great tunes. I know I've used several of them in my own. So hey, give it a look because it's not bad. It's actually pretty good.
Thank you. Ellen, you asked something about a bike. What?
Yeah, you ride.
Oh, the motorbike.
Yeah.
Duh.
Oh, God, Alan, ask him about what kind of bike he rides because I want to know.
What kind of Ducati do you ride?
Oh.
Sorry, I had to.
Dale, do you ride a Ducati?
Yes.
Outrun the F-111 until takeoff.
Oh my God. Alan, have you ever ridden a Ducati?
No, I drive a little scooter. See,
I was going to say Alan's got his little.
It can do 30. It can do 30 kilometers an hour
downhill.
Yeah, tailwind.
32 downhill because it's governed still.
Dale, I have never ridden a Ducati, and I used to own them. Actually, I'd be honest with you, I missed my motorcycle, but I gave up riding a while back.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you in a second. But I mean, I have driven everything from a Harley. I've ridden, and these are all my friends' bikes because I never owned them. I've a Harley, a BMW, a Triumph. I rode the original Kawasaki crotch rocket once and decided I didn't want to die. But I actually owned For about a year and a half, I owned a Yamaha 750, and it was
Oh, yeah.
it was a lowrider, and it was black, and I loved that motorcycle. And I would,
XV?
yeah, and I'll tell you why I don't ride anymore, because I was driving down a 2-lane road. Okay, traffic going one way, other traffic going the other way, and there was a car that was pulling in from the other side, to try to get into traffic, and he didn't see me.
Yeah.
And I was driving down a road that's famous in Florida because it has royal palm trees lining each side of the road. And a royal palm tree, if you don't know it, is the equivalent of a cement light post. Okay, so if you hit it, that thing isn't moving. And this car and these palm trees were maybe 20 feet apart from each other. So I'm driving down, and this guy runs me off the road, and I have a choice here. I have a choice. I can go ahead and hit the car and let him mess me up, or I can try to weave between these palm trees that are basically 20 to 30 feet apart. And I'm going 40 miles an hour. And I managed to weave between 1, 2, 3, and I finally had to let the bike go. And I let it go, and I landed on my ass, and the bike went away, and the bike got totaled, and that scared the crap out of me, and I have not ridden a motorcycle since. That's why I do not ride a motorcycle anymore, but I used to love to ride that motorcycle down to the beach on the evenings, watch the sunset. I mean, I really miss that, but I am afraid to ride a motorcycle to this day because of that.
Well, I have had my fair share of mishaps on a motorcycle over the years, like everyone. But it's like getting back on the horse.
Yeah, you know what it was, but at that point in time, I was so close to death. I was like, I don't need the horse. It's okay.
I can totally understand that.
The horse can go ahead and live without me. But anyway. So,
yeah.
But what is a Ducati like? I guess I'm sorry to bore you with my friggin' story, but how is that Ducati? Is that a fun bike to ride?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You'd have to ride motorcycles, guys, to know what we're talking about, because there's bikes that are fun to ride, and there's bikes that are just kind of you have to work at them, and there's kind of bikes that you just kind of sit back and relax on. But if the Ducati is what I think it is, I'm betting that's a fun bike to ride.
Well, yeah. I just like taking it through the back roads and through the twisties, and then you open the throttle up, and the Duke, she says, "Oh, so you want to play?" All of a sudden comes alive, and it's like, yeah,
let's go. That's my man.
It's like sex to him.
Yeah.
You know what? Alan, it's close. It's really, really close. It's really close.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Is that the sort of bike that you classify as a super bike, like the sports racing type, or is it more of a?
It's like a Vincent Black Shadow kind of thing, isn't it?
I ride the Ducati ST4S. Now the ST4S she's got the 996 motor, which is their super bike motor. But she's also got all the touring stuff. So she's a sports tourer.
Right,
so
gotcha.
So I can take the thing touring and be quite comfortable on it and all the rest of it. She's got the nice shocks, the Oldham shocks, blah 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 blah. But as I said, I open the throttle, the old sports heritage in it. She goes, "Oh, so you want to play?" And away I go. And that doesn't matter whether I've got the thing fully loaded, with passenger on it. She'll still get up there and give you a run for your money.
Gotcha. I just googled some pictures because I'm not a bike guy. I'm a bit like
you're not a scroll saw guy either, but that's
no. Well, I've never nearly killed myself with a scroll saw.
I could throw one at your head.
No, just looking at the. I just googled a picture of it. So when somebody says. I mean, I've got a rough idea of what the 99 series look like, and I think MotoGP sort of bikes, rather than like a touring bike or like a Goldwing or something like that.
Well, yeah, the 996 motor is what started them off being in the sports and on the track. That's where their heritage is basically. But the 999, well, you wouldn't say no to owning one of those either.
Yeah,
sorry.
I guess if you're in a bikes, you wouldn't say no to him. A lot of them.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a few I wouldn't say no. Just even just to have a ride on them, So.
Well, Dale, I love your channel.
Thank you very much.
I'm super happy that you were able to come on with us. I know. Happy Labor Day to you. Because the only way we were going to get him on today was because I knew that today was Labor Day in New Zealand, and it's morning in New Zealand there. It's afternoon for us. It's evening for the guys in the UK. But man, it's been fun. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you.
It's been cool.
Thank you very much for having me.
You should have a new tagline for your channel. So you want to play?
Yeah.
And don't forget.
I like that.
You should have that at the start of the videos.
With that creepy, sexy voice.
Yeah. So you want to play?
I think you just nailed it.
Oh, yeah. So you want to
send
play
you the audio.
and then you use your regular tagline. Say, "Let's go make something." I like it. I love it.
Excellent. So what are you working on at the present then, Dale? What we can expect to see?
You've probably, if you actually watch my channel regularly, I have no idea what my next project is. I go downstairs and make the first cut, and I say to myself, "Oh, I'm obviously making this at the moment." I've got nothing planned. There you go.
Off the cuff. Same way, buddy.
Yeah, most of my videos are off the cuff. No plans, no nothing. It's just.
Yep. Let's do this.
Make it
Let's
happen.
just do this. Yeah.
Let's play.
Maybe you could pull out your scroll saw and make some Halloween type thing, or router, or something like that.
Because Richard can't.
There's a challenge going on, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of fools giving each other grief about something like that. It's all very childish.
This whole thing started because of Jamie and Richard going after each other. So maybe Jamie would like to let us know about what's going on as far as the challenge goes.
Just before Jamie does, Chris, I'd just like to add, it wasn't Richard and Jamie. It was Jamie going after me.
Actually,
I was tricked into it.
Richard semantic.
It was me talking to Andrew McQuillan about it, and Richard turned around and says, "Well, I've actually got that scroll saw." Big mouth.
You see, tricked.
All right, it takes two to dance. All right, so
and one's toast on.
And one's
tomato, yeah.
No, let's be honest, because it takes two to dance, and one's the male and one's the female. And Richard, I'm hearing female from you. So
one's
Jamie,
one's the male and the other's the bitch.
Yeah.
So Jamie, what's going on with the friggin' challenge? And
what's going on
Richard,
with the
you
challenge?
should never have opened your mouth.
What's going on with the challenge? Okay, right. It is a Halloween theme. You've either got to make something with the scroll saw, or hand router, or a router, but it's got to be done hand routed. No jigs or anything like that. All Halloween theme. All entries have got to be submitted to challenge@makersinternationalpodcast.com prior to midnight on October 28th. So we can, the judges, should I say, can look over the entries ready to be announced for the winners on the podcast on the 29th of October.
Awesome.
So, are you saying I'm only allowed to use the scroll saw or the router?
Yes. Either one. But we're having two competitions. One is for the scroll saw, and one is for the router. So there's two. You can enter whatever category you want to enter, or you can enter both. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So I'm not allowed to use my router on the scroll saw project.
Oh, you know what? That's a twist. Go ahead. You know that you killed two birds with one stone. You did.
I've already got an idea.
Well, then do it. Because then you know what?
Get involved.
You will be entered into both. Then there you go. Router and scroll saw.
And you can win a Minecrafting mug.
Wait. Let me show it. Wait. Oh, there we go. Makers International.
Or you can win a Makes International Podcast polo shirt.
There you go.
Which I'm not wearing, and Rich is not wearing because I haven't sent it to him.
He's still got it. Yeah.
I'll send it to him when I get the cups off of Chad.
Now, granted, the Mancrafting mug is worth winning. The polo shirt, maybe not so much, but it's all for fun. So if you want to get involved, let's just do it for fun.
Yep, without doubt.
Definitely.
Totally agree.
Are you working on anything at the moment for that, Jamie, or are you still working on other projects?
Yeah, I will. I've got all mine drawn out. The router one I've not at the moment. I still have no idea what I'm going to do for that, but I'll figure it out by the time I've got my scroll saw one done. But
I guess you'll have plenty of time to think about it, won't you, while you scroll sawing?
Yeah, I'll probably just write boo on it since I know you're not going to be doing anything.
No, it's not that I'm not going to be doing anything. It's just that I'm slightly more limited in time than I thought I was at the start. But yeah, Chris, you're not entering though, are you? But what are you working on at the moment? Or
I'm working on children's toys, and because I'm making. I don't want to hit people. I mean, every time I'm afraid people are going to throw I'm afraid people are going to throw like rotten fruit and vegetables at me because they're just not ready for this. We haven't hit Halloween yet. I'm making toys for kids for the upcoming holiday season. Let's leave it at that. But I can tell you who I am watching, if you don't mind. I'll make
definitely.
I am watching, and this week for me, it's kind of a metalworking day for me this week. I mean, because both of these guys did some great videos. The first one was David Gagne from Elm City Vintage. He put a video up as part of the Dirty Smith Zombie Weapons Challenge. It was pretty cool. And I don't want to ruin the video, but let's just say that there was some metalwork being done, and he threw a bicycle in there just for good measure. So go check that out. David Gagne. The name of the channel is Elm City Vintage. And the second one I'm going to give a quick shout out to was just uploaded today, and it's my buddy Gerald and our friend Gerald, the Redsmith. He just released part 1 of a crossbow build that he's getting ready to do, and that's worth checking out, and I can't wait to see how that comes out. So those are my 2 shout-outs today. So go check out Elm City Vintage and the Redsmith, if you don't mind.
I haven't seen the Elm City video, but I have seen the pictures of it, and it does look really cool.
It is cool. It is cool. But I'm not going to ruin it, so you have to go watch it. And the links will be in the description below.
Cool. Well, I forgot to ask, Jamie. I'm just assuming that because you haven't done your challenges yet, you've been too busy watching YouTube. So have you got anything?
I have actually got a shout out, yeah. But before I quickly do the shout out, I just want to let everybody know that 8 p.m. Tonight, that's Eastern, by the way.
On Sunday.
Yeah, tonight. Mike Murray from Mike and Mike's Woodshop over on his channel is going to be announcing the winners of his 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So yeah. Now my shout out is Tim from Timber Worker. He's new to YouTuber, to the YouTubes, and yesterday he only had 5 subscribers. So I shared his channel about a bit, and last time I looked, he had 39. So yeah, I just want to see if we can get him a bit more. So yeah, Tim from Timber Worker, and he's also entered the Halloween challenge as well. So
excellent. And it starts stacking these videos up for the challenges. Because I'm interested in what people are doing. Are you entering that, Alan, or are you not gonna bother?
No, I'm not.
Come on, Alan.
I don't. I mean,
you love the scroll.
No,
I was referring to the router actually, rather than the scroll. I mean, it was just given that.
You know, I love it when the guests start giving the host some crap. Dale, I love you.
I'm going to make a Halloween themed jig using both the scroll saw and the rotor, so I got everything covered.
Cool.
I win already.
Are you watching anything interesting at the minute, or?
No, actually, I didn't have a shout out this week, but I was going through our analytics, and I thought to myself, I got to pick up somebody for a shout out, and I can actually see who has listened to us above all else in the entire community. Can you guess who that is? We're out of time, so I'm just going to tell you. It is Shogun Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy has downloaded our episodes more than anybody else in the world, and I've downloaded every one of our episodes. So apparently he's downloading them 2 and 3 times over, which is creepy and weird. So let's just give it to Jimmy.
Jimmy, God, I love the man.
I can't not shout the guy out on a regular basis somehow.
Absolutely.
But you can't really not shout somebody out because you haven't been here. You've had like a month to work out who you're gonna.
I think I've sent you guys at least 2 shout-outs in the last month that I didn't get to.
Yeah. But you know what?
Completely my fault.
If you're going to share that kind of love, then Jimmy.
Big thumbs
cheers,
up to Jimmy.
buddy.
Damn right.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. What a great guy.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's not here tonight.
I don't have a shout out this week, purely because I've been mega busy working on not the Scroll Saw project, obviously, but I'm building that. I mentioned last week I'm building that big train set for somebody in their loft.
Yeah, you did. It's going to be friggin' cool too. I want to see that, but I don't know. But it's not going to be a video, is it?
It won't be a video, just because it's actually more than I thought it was going to be. But I have been taking lots of photographs, so they've been appearing on my other social media. So I'll probably just do like a little kind of B-roll type video of it, and maybe put it in with something else. But it won't be a build.
Just out of curiosity, is it like the old Hornby Hobbies sort of train sets?
It actually is going to be if you're into model railways, it's a 00 4mm scale model railway, and it's 8/16.
That's awesome. That's cool.
It's massive. There's 2 straight sections which are 8 foot long, and they go into 2 4-foot radius bends at the ends. So it's a lot of track.
Nice.
It's going to be a big build. So. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I bet you are.
Because I used to have train sets as a kid, and I kind of grew up with model railways and stuff as well. So it's kind of a bit. Well, it's not work for me. It's brilliant. So where can everyone find you, Dale? I want to make sure that we get a good plug for your channels and everything that you're up to, including your Facebook group, which we didn't really get to talk about, but I want to mention.
The easiest way to find all my social media is actually just going straight to my website, www.wackywoodworks.co.nz, and just down the left-hand side will be the links to all social media.
That's / not /.
Yeah.
and not to be confused with makercentral.co.uk.
Oh my God.
Jamie, we're out of time.
Excellent. Well,
oh my God!
I don't think I have forgotten anything, have I, guys?
No, I think we can wrap this up.
That's probably a good place to wrap it up. So, thanks for listening, if indeed you still are. And Dale, thanks for coming on. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully you better stick around for a couple of minutes afterwards when Chris shuts us down finally.
Thanks for having me.
Wicked. Well, if you are still listening, don't forget you can head up our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com. I think there's some stuff on there that somebody's done and Jamie's taking credit for, where you can find everyone else as well. So
Steve from harnellmedia.com.
Wicked. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week. So you take care.
You guys have a great week.
Good night, everybody.
Have a week.
See you later.